Brother lads, welcome back to the Kossi Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossi. Arsenal beaten Tottenham Hotspur 2-1 this evening in a frenzy game. It was the real definition of total madness. It was a beautiful game, a game of both halves. I would say Arsenal, of course, going goal down to Huminson's rebound from a corner, and then somehow we found our way back into the game. There's so many things that I loved about this game, from the team selection to the spirit of the team. I think the Gabriel Jesus injury kind of motivated the team. It gave us something different. If Arsenal play like this every single week, I don't care if we win or don't, it's easy to see that there was effort in that performance. It's easy to see that the team was trying. It's easy to see that the guys were willing to die, for the performance. This is very different from Brighton. This is very different from what we have seen in the past, where this team has been playing like a bunch of chicks without wings. So I thought it was a very good performance. North London derby, obviously, derbies always bring out the best of Arsenal, and I think big games generally under Mikel Arteta in the last 16 performances with big teams, we have been really solid, and we are not losing games. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. I don't think we have to vote for the man of the match, but if you want to vote, I'm going to give you 4 options. Obviously, for me, it's Gabriel Maghalaes. He was absolutely fantastic in that game. The goal, the Dominic Solanke own goal, I think that is all about Gabriel, but also defensively, he was alert. I kind of feel like William Saliba has... I wouldn't say switched off, because that is the importance of having such a really talented defender and such a good guy like William Saliba. Even on days where he's not so good, he really looks okay. But I feel like Gabriel being so good just points, a little bit of light at Saliba. I just feel like Saliba has not been himself this campaign, and Gabriel has been devastatingly very good. So we're going to talk about the table, we're going to talk about the performance, and we're going to talk about the January transfer window, what that performance means for January, what we saw, what we didn't see, and some of the players that I was impressed with, and some of those that I wasn't impressed with. So let's start off with the goals, right? Let's start off with the goals. I think the Tottenham Hotspur goal comes from not a lack of concentration, but because we are pressing them and we are pressing high up the pitch, they were always going to find a way of catching us on the break. And that's what happens. It eventually leads into a corner kick. We don't clear our lines very well. I think William Saliba is trying to close down Son, but he's not reactive enough. He's not quickly, quick to react to that. And then it's a goal. It's not a goal I was disappointed with, because despite Spurs going a goal up, first and foremost, they were not playing in that game. They were not playing well. We were dominating each and every space. We were looking a little bit sharper. And you could see signs that Arsenal was going to score, regardless of where the goal was going to come from, because we didn't know. These days, you don't know where Arsenal goals are going to come from, apart from corners, obviously, and dead ball situations. But you could see that Arsenal wanted this more, and Arsenal were willing to go for it. So when we went a goal down, I was a little bit afraid. I wanted to see, are we going to react by going into, kind of a shutdown, a meltdown, or are we going to keep on pressurizing Spurs? And we kept on pressuring Spurs. By the end of the 45 minutes, we had overturned the scoreline. So the Spurs goal for me is a goal that anyone can concede. It could have been avoided, in my opinion, but I wasn't really disappointed with that. And of course, it's Son. He's a good player. He's a good striker of the ball. He strikes it so nicely. It touches Saliba, I think, and then it goes into the back of the net. But before that, before Spurs scoring, they were really under immense pressure. Like, they were failing to clear their lines, and this is an Arsenal side that has Ben White out, that has Gabriel Jesus out, that has Saka out, that has players like Odegaard off form, Rice is off form. There's so many players. Havertz is off form. It's like a shell of it's a shadow of its former self, and yet we still managed to make Spurs drink a lot of water. But what I liked in particular was when we conceded. That's what I've always said. When Brighton got their equalizer against us, it felt like Brighton were going to win the game. Now, you will excuse me, I started following football, I started supporting football way back in 2004, 2005. And what I remember, because I used to be on the radio, what I remember is when Manchester United, Arsenal, or Chelsea needed a win, a winning goal, the other team didn't have any share of the ball. It was as simple as that. I grew up in an era where Mourinho would suffocate teams, or at least make sure that they don't score. I grew up in an era where Arsenal played beautiful football, and Arsene Wenger's teams would have the ball lots of the time. Barcelona are the same, Manchester United under Ferguson the same. And that's what I want to see from this Arsenal side. I want to see a team that is ready to dominate other teams. And that's what we saw. That's what I saw. That's what I liked about this performance in particular, that you just suffocate Spurs, right? You've come to get the job done. You don't give them a way out. You don't give them any options. Now, let's talk about the goals, because the goals are typical Arsenal goals, should we say? Yeah, the typical Arsenal goals this campaign. The Gabriel goal is down to two things. One, luck. Okay, three. One is luck, because that is not a corner. That's not a corner. Pedro Porro clears the ball. It goes off Trossard, and into the corner it goes. Referee awards the corner. It should be a goal kick. And Spurs are like, okay, we will defend our lines. We can live with that. And Arsenal are like, okay, we'll take the chance. And then the delivery from Declan Rice. On the money. Sublime, on the money. What I like about Declan Rice, and I think this is down to Mikel Arteta, he has made him an important player of the team. And by important, I don't mean, 100 million. I mean, he has more to offer than just sitting in that deep lying position and winning the ball back. I mean, his deliveries are devilish. They're really, really good. The times like this season, obviously, we're scoring many goals from set pieces, and he's a big, big part of that. So the delivery is on the money. It's beautiful. For you to score from dead ball situations, well, people will look at your defenders, people will look at people will look at different things. But I tell you this, whoever delivers plays a big part in whether you can score set pieces or you can't. And Declan Rice is a big part of that. So Rice delivers the ball. It's a good one. It just needs to be directed goalwards. It has the power. It has the pace. What is underrated? My man of the match, Gabriel Maghalaes. It's the way he fights off Dragusin. Because, it's a constant battle between Dragusin and Gabriel right from the middle of the penalty area until when Gabriel makes the ball. And again, I think that goal is about determination from Gabriel. It's about risk, being able and willing to take the risk. And also, I would say, I don't know how I should say this, but I think perseverance, because he doesn't give up. And you can see that at some point in time when that ball is in the air, Dragusin kind of looks at it. That split second where he takes eyes off his man and he looks at the ball, that is where Gabriel gets the opportunity. So he just keeps on going. He knows where that ball is going to come, so he doesn't have to watch it all the way. He just has to be in the right position, and that's what he does. So, listen, he's done it a lot of the time, and it's kind of becoming a routine. Arsenal fans expect him to score like he's a striker. God bless, whoever signed him, and God bless us that we have him, because I don't know what we have done. So the first goal for me, pure Arsenal goal, set piece, dead ball situation, but well executed. The second goal is the kind of goal I would love to see Arsenal score a little bit more this campaign and frequently. those short mini counterattacks, they produce a lot of goals. They produce a lot of goals. Like, what happens when you press high up the pitch? And that's why I'm always telling people that however much you want to abuse Martin Odegaard, I am not part of that team that's going to abuse and troll Martin Odegaard. Is Martin Odegaard of form? Absolutely. But for me, I want to ask people one question. Do we see how hard he works? Do we see how well he presses? Do we realize that he's the only guy right now that is, pressing the way Arsenal have to press? Kai Havertz has fallen off. Saka is injured. Sterling is, I don't know what to say. Trossard, not bad, right? But Odegaard works very hard, really, really hard. And of course, he just directs the rest of the team. And secondly, I've already said, without a striker, for me, I really can't quantify the impact or lack of impact of Martin Odegaard, unless he scores a goal or misses a penalty like he did. Because for me, Odegaard is the player that I look at and I'm like, who is he servicing? Like, does he have a guy that Kai Havertz cannot make runs, a striker makes? So it's as simple as that. But the second goal, if we can score more like those, we are going to be in a much better position. And of course, harder games are coming up. But what happens basically is Spurs are trying to build out. Arsenal win the ball back. I think it's 1-2, one touch, two touches. It's around 4 touches and the ball is in the back of the net. And why that's possible is as they build out from the back, they're going to take up advanced positions. So if you can press them with around 2-3 players at the back and the goalkeeper, those are 3 players remaining, and you create a 3v3 or maybe it was kind of like a 2v3, right? Because it was Odegaard playing it into Leandro Trossard. I think Sterling was also there as well. So you want those goals. We need to create more of those goals, right? We really, really do. Of course, that win means a lot. In a midweek where Chelsea have dropped points, in a midweek where Forest have dropped points, in a midweek where Liverpool have dropped points, that means that Arsenal are now 4 points behind Liverpool. If you can't beat Liverpool, you are 1 point behind Liverpool. Seems like the season is on. The only problem is that it feels that the team is not ready to go, and take on the challenge, right? It just feels like Arsenal are not ready to win game after game after game to chase Liverpool. We might win today and then drop points the next day. That is where the problem is. So, of course, that puts us in second, 4 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool have a game in hand against Everton. We wait to see. Everton have a new manager in David Moyes. I would prefer the Sean Dyche Everton against Liverpool. I think David Moyes is a porous manager. I think his teams are quite good when it comes to mid-table challenges, but when it comes to the bigger boys, they will cut through his team unless he's given heavy funding, which I don't think is really going to happen. So, okay, now, performances. Let's go into players individually. Performances I liked, performances I didn't. The one performance I'm going to say that I liked, definitely, Gabriel Maghalaes. But also in that midfield, Partey and Leandro Trossard. Those were my 3 key players. I am hearing this, hype around Lewis Skelly. I don't have a problem with Lewis Skelly. I think he's a good guy. I think he's playing well, young boy. I just don't think that I'm going to give him the hype that you guys are giving him until I'm sure, right? But he had a decent game. But for me, my standout performance was Leandro Trossard. That goal was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Confident that is a Leandro Trossard goal. Brighton days. Odegaard, the assist. Apart from the assist, I think a lot is lacking in this game. But I would still say Partey. I think Rice had a decent game as well. Performances I didn't like. Kai Havertz. again, the manager has got to make us understand why. Why do we have to look at such performances from Kai Havertz for 90 minutes? Listen, it was always going to come to bite us back. And Mikel Arteta knew this. He is not a centre forward. He can play there. He's played there for German. But I tell you, and I bet Niklas Füllkrug is a more reliable 9 for German than Kai is. Raheem Sterling, that's a performance I did like as well. No. I think with Raheem Sterling, the problem is I want him to do Saka things. And maybe I want him to do the Manchester City things he did, things I know he can do, and maybe those days are behind him. Yeah, maybe those days are behind him. But generally, if we can win the next 2 games and build momentum and work on the window, we aren't far away. It's not a bad season. It's just that the bad performances are really, really many, and you don't like to see them.